the question is it difficult to manage a hybrid model? Now you're in the CMC group or SVP of quality, and so now you're managing the guys internally, and you're trying to manage the guys externally, and you're trying to bring the two sides together because they have to communicate, I believe, on most all stages of the project. So is managing the hybrid model a difficult proposition?
Yeah, sure. I can take a stab at this. So very frankly, I don't think so. I think if we did talk about earlier how there are a lot of similarities between the internal manufacturing and the external manufacturing type approach and how you tackle those, right? And so if you're in a hybrid model, I think if you have a robust way of working externally, that's going to translate to your internal operations and vice versa. And also to what was mentioned earlier, data management, just the way that you're handling your data. If you actually have a digital architecture and a robust way to do that is very quick to work with, say, CDMOs on, say, the same sort of data type of platform, I think from an information sharing perspective, you may not really see that much of a lag or discontinuity between what you're trying to do internally versus what you're doing externally. And maybe one other piece is the components that you do decide to bring internal, they're likely to be the components that you're most comfortable with, that you are experts at. And so you know what you need if you're bringing in some of the raw materials and everything. And so it is very important to align on those expectations up front for what that's going to look like, what type of grade of material you're going to be getting, how it's going to be coming in, how is it going to be packaged. So if you have that robust way of working externally, I don't think you're going to find any sort of extra challenge in having a hybrid model.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Todd, do you have any thoughts on that?
It is quite challenging. Yeah, I mean, so it's different for every company, right? But if you are insourcing, you're building your own facility, and at the same time you're dealing with CDMOs and doing the tech transfer and preparing the run, it's all about focus factor, right? And so again, goes back to Evelyn's strategy. You need to make sure you hire the resources up front that can be able to focus on the build of a facility, as well as also trying to get out product in CDMOs. And so the logistics around that are really important, that you're in front of it so that you can be successful in both of those activities. And so yes, it's challenging. Is it not? It's not undaunting by any means, but it is definitely a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Evelyn, you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think one of the key things that I think we need to go back and just focus on as well when you're looking at your what you want to do here is your organization owns the product license. So you have registered with the European Medicines Agency and got a market authorization in my part of the world, for example, or registered with the FDA in the US. You've registered the product and you are responsible for the obligations that are registered in that product license for that product as an organization. That means whether you manufacture in-house or you outsource, you need to have the correct processes. So, when you're looking at that, I think if you keep, that piece in mind, and I think that helps clear my head a lot when I'm looking at different problems, and whether it's an internal problem or an external, outsourced, you kind of say, okay, well, what am I trying to do here? And what's my obligations? What have I put in my license that I need to manufacture against or operate against, and what do I need to achieve here? And when you look at that, then you kind of think, okay, well, obviously the activities are different if you're doing it internally versus, you outsource. What you do as an organization is a little bit different, but essentially it's the same core activities that need to be done. So, that's about building your processes then and making sure that your processes are key. And then I think it's easy. It's a lot easier. Nothing is easy about this, but it's a lot easier if you think like that to manage your hybrid model and be very clear on what you're trying to achieve from your product's perspective.